Yeah, hi everyone. Let us recap with the last session. So, I think in the last session, we have discussed about the TypeScript data types, and we have discussed about primitive data types, and also the other data types like null and never. So, we have discussed two types of primitive and the other special data types. Then we have discussed about the variable naming convention in TypeScript. Then we have started about the operators. So in the operators, there are multiple operators like arithmetic operators and assignment operators, comparison operators, logical operators, unary operators, and ternary operators. I think yesterday we have discussed about the arithmetic operators. So as part of arithmetic operators, we have discussed about plus and minus and percentile and forward slash. This is called division. So then we have discussed about uh, double star. This is power, and the asterisk. This is multiplication. So these are the different operators that we have discussed as part of the yesterday session. So today let us discuss about the examples, like how we can use this addition operator, subtraction. So I can say this as addition operator, and minus it is subtraction. Then percentile, this is called modulus operator. Then this is division. So then double asterisk, this is called power operator. Then asterisk, this is for multiplication. So after that, we will discuss about assignment operator, comparison operator, logical, unary operators, and ternary operators. First, let us start with the arithmetic operators. So now let us go to our VS Code. So I'm trying to create a new folder here. So I'm just providing the name as operators. So now let me create a new file. So I'm giving the name as arithmetic operators. Yeah. So now I'm declaring two numbers. So I think in the last session, we have discussed how to declare a variable in TypeScript. So you can use let or constant keywords in order to declare a variable. So I'm using let. So A, so the data type of A 100, the number, I'm assigning a value of 100. Again, I'm declaring a variable B. The data type of B is number. I'm assigning 200. So now I'll use console.log. So this console.log is used to print any statement to console. So this is similar to system.out.println in Java, print statement in Python. So now if I say A plus B, so plus is a addition operator. It will just add two different numbers. So here A is 100, B is 200. The moment you say A plus B, it will add the number A and B. So here it will print sum 300. So now I'll declare a variable. So first name. So the data type of this is string. So the first name I am giving as test. So again, I'll declare another variable, last name. So let's say it is of type string again. So now I would say user. So the first name is test, the last name is user. So I will try to add first name and last name. So now let me run this. So for strings, it acts as a concatenation operator. So it is going to combine test and user, and it will return a combined string. So for numbers, plus acts as an addition operator. For strings, it acts as a concatenation operator. So let us run this program. So we have to give npx ts node and provide the path of the file. So file is located in the src folder, and operators is another folder. Inside that, the program name is arithmeticoperators.ts. Let us enter this. So first it should print the sum of A and B. It should be 300. And the second one, it should print first name plus last name. It is the concatenation of these two strings. So this is how plus acts as addition operator for numbers. It acts as a concatenation operator for strings. So now I would say console.log. So I would say b minus a. So here b is a number. So which is 200 minus 100. It will just give subtraction. So minus acts as a subtraction for the numbers. So again, I would say console.log. So I'll print A into B. I would say A star B. So the star acts as a multiplication operator. So now if I run this, so it will simply B minus A, it will print 100, and A asterisk B, it will multiply A with B, you will get 20,000. And this is a syntax to run the program. So npx ts-node, here you need to provide the path of the file. So currently src is the folder where we are writing all our programs. So inside this there is operators folder. Inside the operator folder we have our program. So that's the reason we have given this complete folder path. And one more thing, suppose let's say if you have already ran a command and if you wanted to get that, you can simply press on up arrow. It will automatically show the earlier command that you have run. So now since I already ran the earlier command, I just press the upper arrow. It will automatically populate the last command you have run. Okay. Yeah. So now this asterisk acts as a multiplication operator. So now I would say console.log. I'll give b by a. So b forward slash a. So this is acts as a division operator. So now when I divide 200 with 100, you will get a dividend as 2. So this will give you 2. So now I would say console.log. So b percentile a. So the percentile, this symbol is called modulus operator, where this forward slash gives you the dividend, whereas this percentile will give you the remainder. So when I divide 200 with 100, you will get the remainder as 0. So this will give you 2, whereas this will give the percentile will give you 0, because when you divide 200 with 100, you will get remainder as 0. So let me run this. So this should get give you 2. Yeah, and this should give you 0. So this is all about plus acts as a addition operator for numbers and concatenation operator for strings. Minus acts as a subtraction operator. Star acts as a multiplication. Forward slash is for division. Percentile is for calculating the remainder. So this is called modulus operator. So there is another one. So yeah, so let me try. So console.log. So the another operator is star star, that is called power operator. So now I'll declare one more variable here. So I'll give C. C is a number. I'm giving C value as 2. So now I would say A 2 asterisk C. So what is the value of A? Value of A is 100. The value of C is 2. So this acts as a power operator. So when I say A star star C, it is equal to 10 power 2. So that is 10 square. So I can say that is a 10 square. It will give you 10,000. Now you can see it has given 10,000. So this star star is a special operator that is available in TypeScript. So these are all about arithmetic operators. So after the arithmetic operators, so we have assignment operator. So now we call equal to as assignment operator, because equality is used to assign a value to any variable. So if you observe here, so I want to assign a value 100 to number A. Here I am using equal to. Again, here I want to assign a string value to first name. I am using equal to. So equal to is called assignment operator. So if you want to assign any value for any data type, I use equal to. So that's the reason we call equal to as assignment operator. So it is not only for numbers, you can assign strings, you can assign arrays. So anything if you want to assign, we use equal to. That's the reason we call equal to as assignment operator. So now let us discuss about relational operators. So what are the relational operators in TypeScript? So in the TypeScript, we have following relational operators: less than and greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to. So these are called relational operators. So apart from relational operators, there are two comparison operators. So double equal to is one comparison operator, triple equal to is another comparison operator. So let us discuss one by one. So this less than, so this is used to compare two variables or two values. So let me create a new file. So in the operators, I am creating a new file. So I'm providing the name as so relational underscore comparison operators dot ts. Okay. Yeah. So again here I'm declaring it two new variables. Let d, so which is of type number. So I'm giving the value as 100, and let e, it is of type number. I'm assigning value of 200. So now I would say console.log. I would say d greater than e. So here the value of 100, d is 100, the value of e is 200. So d greater than e, this is not true because the value of d is 100, the value of e is 200. So this will give you false. So simply these relational operators will give you true or false. In the same way, I would say d less than e. So d less than e, it will give you true because d value is 100 and e is 200. So less than e is true. So it will give you true. So again, there is another operator, d greater than or equal to and d less than or equal to. Okay. Yeah. So this d greater than or equal to e means, so it will give you true when d value is equal to e or d value is greater than e. And this will give you true when d less than or equal to e or d less than e. So this is just to evaluate the relations between two numbers. We use these relational operators. So now let me run this. I just change the file name. Here it should be relational operators. So here if you wanted to get the file or name automatically, just give few characters of the file name first. Here, what is the file name? I have relational comparison operator. I just give RE, just click on tab. So the file name will be generated automatically because as soon as you click the tab, it will try to search for the files. If there are multiple files, it will give you multiple files. If there is only one file, it will give you the path of the file directly. So now let me click on enter. So this will execute and it will give you true or false. So the first one is d greater than e. So the value of d is 100, e is 200. So 100 greater than 200. This is false. D less than E, this is true. So it will print it true. D greater than or equal to E. So D is 100. It is neither greater than nor equal to. So we got false. So D less than or equal to E. Yes, one condition is true. So D less than or equal to E means either D can be less than E or D can be equal to E. So in this case, D less than E is true. So we are getting true. So now I'll give both as 200. So let me run this. Yeah, now, so these two conditions will evaluate to true. So because d greater than e, this is false because 200 greater than 200 is false. 200 less than 200 is false. So 200 greater than or equal to 200 is true. This is also true. So this is how we can use this relational operator in order to evaluate the relation between two different numbers. So now, what is comparison operator? So here I would say console.log. So here this less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, this we use it to check the greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, those kind of relation we can check using this. But now I wanted to check exactly if D is equal to E or not. That is my requirement. So then if you want to check for the equality, I can use this double equal to. So this is called comparison operator. Okay. So equal to is called comparison operator. So now there is one more, triple equal to. So what is the difference between double equal to and triple equal to? Let me run this. You will get the same thing because both are having the same value. So for these two things, you will get true. So double equal to returns true and triple equal to also returns true. So now what is the difference between double equal to and triple equal to, and what is the preferred comparison operator in TypeScript? So basically double equal to will only checks the value. Suppose I have variables like that. Let x, let's say it is a string. I gave value as 5. So now let y, it is of type number. I gave as 5. So here x is a string variable and we have assigned a value 5 to x. Again, y is another variable of type number. We have assigned a value of 5. So when I say D double equal to E, this double equal to this comparison operator only checks for the value. It won't check for the data type. Here, the data type of X is a string and the data type of Y is number. So when I give D double equal to E, so it is going to, it will give you false because, sorry, it will give you true because the values of D is equal to E. That is true. Hence, this will give you true. Whereas this one, triple equal to, it will check both data type as well as value. So the data type of D is a string. Sorry, not D. We should keep X
You
and Y.
need to change to X1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it should be X and Y. So again, it should be X and Y. Okay. Yeah. So now X double equal to Y. Anyway, this is giving an error here because TypeScript is strictly typed programming language. So strictly typed means if both the data types are same, then only it will compare. So this is what generally in case of JavaScript, because in JavaScript is not strictly typed, but the TypeScript at the compile time itself, it will check the types. If both are equal, then only it will allow you to compare. But in generally, the difference between equal to and triple equal is double equal to will only check for the value, whereas triple equal to will check for data type as well as its value. And we always prefer to use triple equal to in TypeScript. Okay, so that is the difference between double equal to and triple equal to. So we prefer this triple equal to. Okay, so this is all about comparison operator. Yeah, so now, yeah, if you want to comment any piece of code, just use two forward slashes. So this is to comment the code in TypeScript. So if you want to do multi-line comment, just give this star and star forward slash. So this is also multi-line comment in TypeScript. So this is all about the relational operators and comparison operators. So less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, less than, greater than. These are relational operators. Double equal to and triple equal to. These are comparison operators. So now let us discuss about logical operators. And what are the logical operators? So in the TypeScript, we have the following logical operators. One is logical AND. So this is called logical AND. And there is another operator, two forward slashes. This is called logical OR. So then there is exclamatory mark. This is called logical NOT. So let us discuss how this logical AND works and logical OR works and logical NOT works. Suppose let's say A is a condition and B is a condition and A logical and B is an expression. So expression is nothing but combination of multiple conditions. So now here, let's say the condition A is true and B is true, then logical AND will evaluate to true. So now condition A is true, B is false, A logical and B will evaluate to false. Again, A is false and B is true, then this will evaluate to false. So again, A is false, B is false, then A logical and B evaluates to false. That means the logical and will evaluate to true only when all the conditions are true. So in this case, we have two conditions. A is one condition and B is another condition. If both are true, then only the logical and will evaluate to true. So now there is another expression, A logical or B. So the logical OR will be true only when any one of the condition is true. Either A is true or B is true, then the logical OR will evaluate to true. So in this case, A is true, B is true, so it will be true. So here A is true and B is false. Since at least one condition is true, it will be evaluated to true. So here A is false, B is true, so it will be true. Both are false, it will be false. So this is how logical OR works. There is another one, logical NOT. So I'll give a logical NOT A and B. So whenever you give this logical NOT before an expression, this will be opposite value. If A logical and B is true, then if you give this NOT before the variable, it will give you false. In this case, A logical and B is true, so it will become false. So again, same thing. If that is false, it will become true. So if that is false, this will be true. Because here A logical and B is false when both when condition A is F false, B is true, then it will be false. Logical and will be false, but the opposite will become true. This is just a negation, I can say. Okay. Both are false, so this will be true. So this is how this conditional statement works. But anyway, we'll discuss about this with an examples in the next session. Like we'll discuss about conditional statements, like if else. So in that we'll discuss how this logical and will be used, how this condition will be evaluated to true with some examples. So this is all about logical operators. Then there is unary operator. So there are two type of unary operators. One is plus plus. This is called increment operator. So there is minus minus. This is called decrement operator. So now again, in this plus plus, there are two types of increment operators. Suppose let's say I have a variable let a, it is of type number. I assigned a value 100. So now I would say let C, it is of type number equal to, I would say plus plus A. And so if you provide plus plus before the variable, we call that as pre-increment. So now I would say plus plus A, this is called pre-increment. And if I give plus plus after the variable, that is called post-increment. So now let us discuss what is the difference between pre-increment and post-increment. Generally, plus plus, if you give plus plus for a variable, it will increase the value by 1. So currently, if I observe here, the value of A is 100. If I say plus plus A, it will increase the value of variable by 1. So at the end of increment operator, the value of A becomes 101. But as I told you, so there are two different cases in increment operator. One is pre-increment, another one is post-increment. So if I provide plus plus before the variable, this is called pre-increment. And if I provide plus plus after the variable, this is called post-increment. So now, so what is the difference between pre-increment and post-increment? So in this case, the value of A is 100. Now here I'm saying C number equal to plus plus A. So this is a pre-increment. So whenever you give this pre-increment, what it does is, first it will increase the value of a by 1. So currently the value of a is 100. So first it will increment the value of a. So that means the value of a becomes 101 after increment. So that it will first increase the value of a, then it will assign to c. So now the value of a is 101. The same value will be assigned to c. So now c will become 101. So that means in the pre-increment, first it will increase the value of variable. After increasing the variable value, then it will assign. So that's the reason in this case, you got the value of a as 101. The same has been assigned to c. So in this case, if you print the value of a and c, you will get both as 101. Now let us consider other case. Instead of plus plus a, I'll give a plus plus. So in this case, you have provided plus plus after the variable. So this is called post increment. So what is the difference between pre-increment and post-increment? In the post-increment, first whatever the value that the variable is having, that will be assigned to C. In this case, the value of A is 100. So whatever the value that it initially has for A, that will be assigned to C. So now the value of C becomes 100. After that, it will increase the value of A. So it will become 101. So that means in the post increment, first it will assign the value of the variable, then it will increase the value of variable. So in this case, initially it has assigned the value of A to C. So it will become, C will become 100. After that, it is incrementing. So after the increment, A value become 101. So now let us take an example and we can see this difference. So yeah, let me create. So yeah, I am creating as unary operator. So I would say let A1, it is of type number. I'll provide 100. So let B1 number. So I'll provide so 200, let's say. Okay, I don't take any value here. I'll just perform pre and post increment. So now in this case, I'll say plus plus A1. So now let me print the values console.log. So I'll first print A1, then I'll print B1. Yeah. So this is pre-increment. So yeah, first it will increase the value of A1. So A1 will become 101. Same will be assigned to B1. So now the value of A1 and B1 will be 101. So let me run this. Unary. So just click on tab. So now I should get the value of both the variables as 101. So now I'll move these two at the end of the variable. So I'll say A1 plus plus. So in this case, so first the value of A1 will be assigned to B1. So initially A value is 100, A1 is 100. So it will become, B1 will become 100 first. So it will print 100, A1 will be 101. Yeah, so this is how it will work. And one more thing, suppose let's say I wanted to embed or I want to print some string along with this variable value. So what I can do here is, so I think in the last session we discussed we need to use these single quotes. So now I would say this is post increment and pass the variable, pass in dollar within the flower basis, provide the variable value. So here the variable value is A1. So let me run this. It will simply print this string and also it will incorporate the value of A1 because this A1 is a variable. If I would like to incorporate the value of a variable inside a string, we need to use this dollar and the value of variable should be, the variable name should be enclosed within these curly braces. So this is about increment. So post increment and pre increment. Same is the case with decrement, but a decrement operator will decrease the value. So whereas the increment will increase the value, when you use this decrement operator, it will decrease the value. So again in decrement also there are two types, post decrement and pre decrement. Let us try the same variables. So here, so now, yeah. So instead of plus plus a, I'll give minus minus. So since you are giving this minus minus before the variable, this is called pre-increment. So what, sorry, pre-decrement. So what does pre-decrement does? First, it will decrease the value of the variable. Always when you give pre-decrement or pre-increment, first it will perform increment or decrement. Then once whatever the value you get for that variable, that will be assigned to the left side variable. So here value of a is 100. So minus minus a, it will perform decrement of variable a. It will become 99. So in this case, the value of a will be 99. C will be 99. So this is pre-decrement. So if I give post-decrement, in this case, first the value of A will be assigned to C. So now C will become 100. After that, A will become 99 because after that we are performing the decrement. So it is similar to increment, but only the difference is increment will increase the value, decrement will decrease the value. That is only the difference. Okay. And finally, there is another operator, ternary operator. So how the syntax of ternary operator looks like? So the ternary operator syntax looks like this. So we have to provide some condition. So expression 1 and expression 2. So this is the syntax of a ternary operator. Here I would say let some variable equal to this one. Okay. So this can be a condition. So what it will do is it will check this condition, whether the condition is true or not. If this condition is true, it will evaluate the expression 1. Whatever the value will get here, that will be stored in the variable. If in case this condition is false, it will evaluate the expression 2, and whatever the value will get here, that will be assigned to this variable. So let us check one example. So now I would say let result. So let's say I have a variable age. So let age, it is of type number. Let's say I have provided a value of 20. So now my requirement is I wanted to check if the value of age is greater than 18. I want to print adult, else I want to print minor. That is my requirement. So I would say age greater than 18 question mark. I'll say print adult, else minor. So this is how it works. So we'll see more examples as we go with the conditional statements. This is how the ternary operator looks like. First, it will check the condition. Here, what is the value of age? The value of age I have assigned 20. 20 greater than 18. This is true. Since this is true, it will give this adult. This value will be assigned to result. If I give here age as 17, 17 greater than 18, this is false. Since this is false, it will evaluate to the second expression, that means minor. This value will be assigned to result. So this is how the ternary operator works. So the ternary operator is used generally for a single line expression. If you have too much of complex code, we should not use this ternary operator. Like if for single line of statements where you want to execute a simple, very simple statements of one line, then we can go for this ternary operator. So this is all about operators. So we just discussed about arithmetic operators, assignment operators, comparison, and logical operators, unary operators. So now, and also we discussed about a ternary operator. So now let us discuss about conditional statements. So what are the conditional statements and why should we use conditional statements? So generally, during your programming or during your automation, you might get some situations where if this condition is true, then only I want to execute this. Suppose let's say you are filling a form. Let's say you want to fill some water form, and there if you check, let's say you got a option gender. If you are a male, I need to fill different details. If you are a female, I need to fill different details. So here, I need to check the condition. What is the gender here? If the gender is male, let us let us fill this form. If the gender is female, let us fill this form. So that means in your coding, if you get any situation where you need to execute something based on the condition, then we have to use these conditional statements. So in TypeScript, we have the following conditional statements like we have if is one conditional statement, if else ladder, switch, I think ternary operator and nested if. So today we'll discuss about if else and else if ladder. The remaining three we can discuss in the tomorrow session. So how the syntax of if looks like? So the syntax of if looks like this: provide if, inside if provide some condition. So open braces, write the code here, close the braces, next statement. Okay. So this is how the syntax of if condition looks like. So in this if is a keyword, and inside the if, within the braces, you need to specify the condition. If this condition is true, it will execute the code. This is called if block. So whatever the code that you have written within this flower braces, that is called if block. So this if block will be executed only if this condition is true. If the condition is false, then it will skip the if block, go to the next statement. So now let us take an example here. I wanted to check like if the age of a person is greater than 18 or not. If the age is greater than 18, I want to print the user is eligible to vote. So that is my requirement. So yeah, let me create a new folder. So I'm giving name as conditional statements. So inside this, let me create a new file. Yeah, the file name I am giving as if condition. Okay. So now here I'm initializing a variable let is, it is of type number. I'm assigning some value 20. So here what is the requirement? So here the requirement is I wanted to check if the age of a person is greater than 18 or not. If the age is greater than 18, then I wanted to print eligible to vote. So here we can use the if condition. So I would say if, so what is the condition? Age should be greater than 18. So if is a keyword, within this flower braces, we need to specify the condition. Then inside that, write the code console.log. So eligible to vote, eligible to vote. Okay. So this is the if block, and next statement I am writing as console.log if is executed. So this is outside of the block, if block. So as of now, what is the value of number? What is the value of age? The value of age is 20. So 20 greater than 18. This is true. Since this is true, it will go inside this print eligible to vote. And once this block is executed, it will go to the next statement. The next statement can be anything. Here I just printed a console.log and printing if is executed. But this code can be anything. So let me run this. It will just print eligible to vote. So yeah, what is the folder name? Conditional statements and if condition. So let me run this. We should print eligible to vote if he is executed. Okay. So now I'll change the value to 17, let's say. So now this condition will evaluate to false because 17 greater than 18, this is false. Since this condition is false, it will skip the if block, go to the next statement directly, because since the condition is false, it will not execute the if block at all. So let me run this. I should only see if is executed. So this is how we can use if block. If you have exactly a single condition, we can use if block. So this can be anything, like if you have any other conditions, let's say based on your condition, you want to execute a particular test case, then keep the if block, keep the condition, whatever you want to execute. Then inside that condition, you have to keep the code. So there is another case. I will take a number. I want to check if the number is even or odd. So if you take any number, either it can be even or it can be odd. So here we have two possibilities. If you take any number, it can be even or odd. So if you want to evaluate exactly two conditions or exactly two possibilities, we have to use if else. So let us see how the syntax for if else looks like. So provide if condition. So this is if block code, else write the code here and go to the next statement. Okay. So this is how if else looks like. So here first it will check the condition in the if. If this condition is true, it will go and execute the code inside the if block, skips the else block, go to the next statement. If this condition is false, it will skip the if block, go to the else block and execute this, go to the next statement. So whenever we have exactly two possibilities, we have to use if else. If there is exactly one possibility, go for if. So now I wanted to check if a number is even or odd. If the number is even, I want to print this number is even. Not if that is not even, I want to print this number is odd. So let me create a new file here. If else .ts. So I'll take a number, let. So yeah, I would say user number I'm giving. It is of type number. So let's say I'm providing some 10. So I want to check if this is even or odd. So if, how you can identify a number is even or odd? If you take any number, if that is divisible by 2, divisible by 2 in the sense, if you divide a number with 2, if you get the remainder as 0, that is called even number. If you get the remainder as 1, we call that as odd number. So how to calculate the remainder? I think just now we have discussed an operator, percentile, which is a modulus operator. The modulus operator is used to calculate the remainder. So now here I would say user number percentile 2 equal to 0. So I'll keep this in floor within the parenthesis, because all this is one single expression. That's the reason I'm keeping that in within a parenthesis. So if this is equal to 0, so I would say console.log. So I want to print the number is even. So dollar. So this is the number is even, I would say. Okay. So if that is not even, then obviously it should be odd. Because if you take any number, only two possibilities, even or odd. So I'll give odd. So now I'll print next statement, console.log if else is executed. Okay. So as of now, the value of user number is 10. First it will come here. 10 percentile 2 is 0, because when you divide a number 10 with 2, you obviously will get remainder as 0. So this will be equal to 0. So it will print 10 is even and it will skip the else block. Okay. So it will
Is
skip
there
the
any specific, sorry, Madhu, is there
yeah.
any specific reason did you use to triple equal? Because I know
Yeah.
this is also integer.
Yeah, because as I told you, right, generally in TypeScript, we also have an option where you don't need to pass the data type. If you remember last session, we have discussed
Yeah.
about type inference. Suppose if I don't provide any data type, based on the value you are saying, it will get automatically corresponding data type. But here we recommend to use triple equal to, because as I told, right, double equal to will not actually check for the data type. It
Data type.
only check for the values. So now
Okay.
we have one data type called any data type. I think that we'll discuss in the next sessions. If you give any data type, it will accept any type of number. So it can be, sorry, not number, it can accept any type of value. It can be big int, or it can be a string, or it can be a number, it can take anything. In that case, you may get the problem because both will have the same value, but the data type will be different. So that's the reason to avoid those kind of things. We prefer to have triple equal to throughout the TypeScript sessions. In TypeScript, it recommends to use triple equal to because we wanted to verify for the equality of both the data type as well as value. So yeah, let me run this. So yeah, it should be if else. Now it should print 10 is even, and it will else will be skipped because this condition is true. It will be skipped. Go to this if else is executed. Now let me provide 11. So if I run this, it will go to else black because when you divide 11 with 2, you will get remainder as 1. So this will be skipped. Go to the else. It will print 11 is odd and if else is executed. So this is how you can use for exactly two possibilities. We can go for if else. So generally, this is one simple example, but again, depending on the requirement, you can have multiple conditions, and based on that, you can use if else. Okay, so next thing, let us discuss about if else ladder. So as I told you, right, exactly one condition, go for if. Exactly two conditions or two possibilities, go for if else. Let's say you have multiple possibilities. Suppose I take three numbers. A, it is having a value of 100. B, it has 200. C, let's say it has 300. So here I want to find the biggest of these three numbers. Always there are three possibilities. A can be bigger, B can be bigger, C can be bigger. So that means there are three possibilities here. So if I want to use if or if else, you cannot use because here we have three possibilities. So we go for if else ladder. The syntax looks like this. If condition 1, write the code, then else if condition 2, write the code, again else if condition 3, write the code. So like that you can have n number of conditions. At the else end, write the code here. Okay. So what it will do is first it will check the condition 1. If the condition 1 is true, it will execute this code. It will skip all other conditions and go to the next statement. Okay. Suppose if the condition 1 is false, then it will go and check condition 2. If this condition 2 is true, then it will skip everything else, go to the next statement. Like that, if whichever the condition is matching, whichever the condition is true, it will execute only that else if block and go to the next statement. If in case none of these conditions are true, then it will directly go and execute else block. So this is how this else if ladder work, if else if ladder works. So let us take an example of this identifying the maximum of three numbers. So let me create a new file, else if ladder.ts. So now let me take three numbers, x number, I'll give 10, y, it is of type number, so 20, z, it is of type number 30. Okay. So first I'll check if, first I'll assume x is bigger. If you want to say x is bigger, it should be greater than y and z. So x greater than y and x greater than z. I think just now we discussed about logical and. So why I am using this logical and here? Because when I want to say x is bigger, it should be greater than y and it should be greater than z. If both conditions are true, then only it will give you true. Because if you want to enter into the if block, this expression should evaluate to true. So here x is true and y is this first condition. This is the second condition. If both the conditions are true, then only it will evaluate to true. That's the reason I use a logical AND. So I would say console.log. I would say x is bigger. X is bigger. So now, yeah, if that is not the case, then I'll write the second condition, if else. Assume that y is bigger. Because if the x is not bigger, obviously y should be bigger. I would say y and y should be greater than x. Y should be greater than z. So now I would say, so y is bigger. If in case x is not bigger and y is not bigger, obviously z should be the bigger one. So yeah. So yeah, this is how, yeah, this is how we can use else if ladder. And I will write console.log if else ladder is executed. So now in this case, so yeah, so 30 should be bigger. Let us try this. Let us try running this. So I should get 30 is bigger and else if else ladder is executed. Yeah. So let us see how it executes. Initially x greater than y, 10 greater than 20. This is false. Since the first condition itself is false, it will not go to the second condition because logical AND will be true when both the conditions are true. So the first condition itself is false. It will go to the else if. Y greater than z, yes, y greater than x, this is true. 20 greater than 10 is true. This is true. Y greater than z, 20 greater than 30. This is false. True and false, this is false. I think we have discussed here about logical operators. When condition A is true, condition B is false, it will evaluate to false. Logical AND will be true when both the conditions are true. So in this case, this is condition A and this is condition B. So this is actually, this is true, this is false. So obviously this will false. Hence this condition 1 is false, condition 2 is false. It is going to else block, directly printing this. Now I'll give x as 100. So yeah, let me run this. Now in this case, the first condition will evaluate to true. So 40 greater than y, that means 40 greater than 20 is true. 40 greater than 30 is true. Since both conditions are evaluated into true, logical AND will be true. So it is executing this and skipping the remaining and it is executing the next statement. Okay. Yeah, this is all about else if ladder. So yeah, we have discussed about if else and else if ladder. So this is for three conditions. There may be a case where you have 5 or 6 or 10 conditions also. In those cases, we don't prefer to go for else if ladder. Rather, we go for switch statement. So tomorrow we'll discuss about switch statement in detail, switch statement, ternary operator. So after that, we will discuss about the loops.